Hello EFD squad and welcome back to the Euro Roundup with me and Pat, where we take a look at what's been going on across Europe this past weekend, starting in these fine shores in Britain with one Cesc Fabregas.
Yeah, he starred in Chelsea's 3-1 victory over Swansea. He became the first Spaniard to reach 300 Premier League appearances. He got an assist and a goal in this game. His assist brought him up to 102 in the Premier League. That's the same as Frank Lampard, and he's actually the only person who's got more assists than him is Ryan Giggs. He's now got 3 goals, 7 assists in the Premier League this season. He's played only 650 minutes.
That's crazy.
That's outrageous. The only players who have as many or more assists as him have averaged over 2,000 minutes in the Premier League. So he's been absolutely blowing teams away in limited time on the pitch. He's only one assist away from the number he got last season, despite playing a fifth of the game time. 50% of his shots have been on target as well, so that shows that he's mostly playing against tired defences and he's probably getting in pretty good positions. On the night, he completed the most passes with 105, and he got 5 key passes as well. So those are passes that lead to a shot, so those are chances created. If you see chances created or key passes mean the same thing. That's more than double the best Swansea player, so he really did run the show.
Yeah, and I think he surprised a few people, Conte, when he started Fabregas instead of Matic in this game. So I thought it'd be interesting if we had a little bit of a Fabregas versus Matic debate. Now, obviously, this was a key partnership under Jose Mourinho. His third title-winning side was heavily dependent on the defensive output of Matic and the sort of assists and creativity of Cesc Fabregas. Now, with N'Golo Kante in the team, they find themselves competing for a place. Now, obviously, as you've put very eloquently there, mate, Cesc Fabregas' individual numbers are pretty crazy given the limited amount of time he spent on the pitch. But in terms of playing style, Matic actually frees up Kante. You'd think Kante would be a defensive midfielder in any system he plays in, but in the big games against Liverpool and against Chelsea, you take a look at Matic's average position, you take a look at Kante's average position, and Kante's further up the field, winning that ball back higher up the field, pressing the defences more so than Matic. So you think in the big games, to bring Fabregas in next to the likes of Kante would disrupt that 3-4-3 system, may bring a bit of defensive instability to the side. I mean, the numbers support this argument too. We look at the last couple of years since Fabregas and Matic started playing together at Chelsea. Matic has 180 interceptions to Fabregas' 56. He has 200 clearances to the Spaniards' 56 as well. But Cesc Fabregas has been involved in 41 goals in that time to Matic's 14. So I think we'll continue to see Cesc Fabregas play a bit more often as the season comes to an end, but against the lesser sides in which he can dictate the tempo and in which N'Golo Kante's ability to win the ball back high up the field is not necessarily imperative. But what a headache for Conte to have, and who do you guys think should start in that central midfield partnership? Let us know in the poll just above.
Our first losers of the weekend are Inter Milan. What happened to them, Chris?
Well, Pato, they lost 3-1 at home to bitter rivals Roma in what was a fairly balanced game over the 90 minutes. They had an equal amount of possession. Inter did slightly edge Roma in terms of chances created, 14-12. You'd expect that as the home side. And Pioli's side were actually in form coming into this game. They even bettered the amount of passes completed. I expect that Gagliardini had a lot to do with that. He's been great since he's come in that defensive midfield role from Atalanta. But it was at the other end of the pitch they had issues. Icardi was wasteful. He had 6 shots, only 1 coming on target, Pato. And Inter, this is a worrying trend. They've now lost to Juve, Roma, Lazio and Napoli this season, losing out to all the top clubs. And again, slipping in that race for a Champions League place.
Yeah, well, Roma, though, are quite an interesting proposition. They've got so many different weapons. They've obviously got the pace down the wing. They've got a very beefy midfield. And they can go long to Edin Dzeko. He won 6 aerial duels in this game. That's very impressive. And they won 20 aerial duels overall. They really were dominant in the air. Part of that is Federico Fazio at the back, who's been absolutely sensational. They've got an option to buy on him, I believe about 4.5 million euros.
Bargain.
So that could be an incredible bargain for them. Now, Strootman and De Rossi were pretty decent in this game. They made 7 tackles between them. Their pass success was 78%. That's not terribly high. But the more important thing they did is give Radia Nainggolan license to get forward, and he really was the star. 3 shots, 2 on target. He had 4.5% possession of the ball in this match, of the total possession in the match, 74% pass success, and 2 goals. He's now been directly involved in 10 goals in his last 11 games in all competitions, with 8 strikes and 2 assists. Pretty incredible.
Gold dust.
When he scores great goals, and he's scored in 4 consecutive Serie A games now. So he really is making the difference. He's 28 years old, right in his prime, and he is really turning into a dominant player. Roma get to carry on their chase of Juventus, but of course the Bianconeri remain 7 points ahead. However, they're tightening their grip on that second spot, especially after Napoli lost to Atalanta. But who's going to finish second? Are Juve going to race away to the title? Probably. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our next winners are the Blaugrana. Pato, what happened in Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid?
Barcelona beat Atleti 2-1 away and temporarily went top of La Liga until Real Madrid came back from a 2-0 deficit against Villarreal to restore their advantage. Now, this is a classic Barcelona in crisis, isn't it? They still go top of the league. And they were playing an interesting sort of 3-4-3 in this game, a very narrow 3-4-3. They've had problems in the past, and they had problems early on. Atleti was sending waves and waves of pressing attackers, and the centre-backs simply couldn't deal with it. There were chances for Yannick Ferreira Carrasco, Diego Godin, Antoine Griezmann. They managed to stay in it, though, and now 13 consecutive La Liga games, Barcelona have not conceded in the first half. So they are hanging in there in these games, and they grew into this one. They ended up with more shots on target. They had 64% possession, very, very strong indeed. But they required Messi to be their saviour once again. Last week, got a 90th minute winner against Leganes. This week, scored from a Suarez cut back in the 86th minute to grab all 3 points. He now has 45 goals and assists combined this season, and he's leading the race for the European Golden Boot ahead of Higuain, Lewandowski, Aubameyang, all the big hitters, and of course ahead of Suarez. So very impressive stuff from the little Argentinian.
Yes, and we know that little Argentine is a big game player, but listen to these numbers on the road. Messi's goal, his winning goal yesterday, was his 13th at the Vicente Calderon. That is amazing, considering how tight that defence has been in the last 4 or 5 years under Simeone. I mean, last season, they only conceded 18. Can you guess the next stadium where he scored the highest amount, Pato?
No.
Away from home. The Bernabeu, 12 goals. He just loves scoring in Madrid. Now, moving on from Messi. It's hard, but we must do it. Yesterday also marked Luis Enrique's 100th league game in charge of the Blaugrana. Now, his tenure, his stewardship has come under some scrutiny recently, especially from the Barcelona faithful. They want to see the likes of Sampaoli come in, but the numbers suggest they are jumping the gun. Now, let's have a look at recent managers, such as Pep Guardiola. In his first 100 games, he won 251 league points. Now, Luis Enrique's, those 3 points yesterday, rack up in total 239 points. So he's not far off at all, is he? That represents a 76% win ratio. So I think be careful what you wish for, Barcelona fans. What do you guys think? Should Luis Enrique go or should he stay? Let us know in the comments below.
Bayer Leverkusen are our next losers. They had a bad week and it got worse over the weekend.
They certainly did, Pato. That bad week started in the Champions League, losing 4-2 to Atletico Madrid, and finished also at home in the league, losing 2-0 to Mainz, also managed by another Schmidt. So this was Schmidt versus Schmidt. And it was a game that Bayer dominated in terms of possession, but not in terms of chances created. Despite having 63% of the ball, they only tested the Mainz keeper 3 times. The home goalkeeper, Bernd Leno, had to face 5 shots on target, and that was thanks to a pretty explosive start from Mainz. They actually could have scored in the opening minute, Pato. But Mainz did complete 12 blocks to Leverkusen's 10 and have Stefan Bell to thank for an excellent 90 minutes both at the back and at the top as he scored the opening goal just 3 minutes in. This came as the result of a terrible bender back pass, and the mistakes continued, didn't they, Pato?
Well, yeah, it was a kind of scrappy game, which actually Bayer Leverkusen tend to like. They like to break up play. They don't like teams to come and kind of dominate possession against them. And Mainz had a 47% pass accuracy across their team in this game. They were playing risky passes and they didn't particularly care if they lost the ball because they knew they were solid at the back. Now, Leno made a big mistake as well. He let Öztunali's kind of cross-come shot go in the 10th minute. So they were 2-0 down very early on, and they didn't really fashion quality chances. As Chris says, they only had 3 shots on target, which is below league average for a team in the Bundesliga. And Jedvaj probably wasted their best chance, header straight at the keeper. It wasn't really that difficult for him. Now, Roger Schmidt made a kind of interesting choice here. He rested Julian Brandt for this game and instead brought in youngster Kai Havertz, who's this attacking midfielder, very highly rated. He's just 17 years old, though, and that lack of experience did show as he was unable to impose himself on this game. Leverkusen continue to yo-yo. Great results one week, terrible results the next. Where are they going to end up this season, though? Are they going to make it back into the Champions League places? They've come third the last 3 seasons, but it looks like they might be slipping out of the top 4 this year. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our final winner comes from Twitter user Kyle Sigfussen. I'm guessing you're Icelandic, my friend, who thinks Memphis Depay should be in our winners section. And what a week Lyon have had. They followed up their 7-1 destruction of AZ Alkmaar with a 5-0 win over Metz in the league to consolidate that 4th place spot. They are now 4 points ahead of 5th place Bordeaux with a game in hand, but remain 13 points off of Nice in 3rd place, so it looks like 4th is as good as it's going to get for Olympique Lyonnais. Now, maybe if they'd had Memphis Depay from the start of the season, things would be different. Pato, he scored twice in this game and grabbed an assist. That takes his total to 7 games for the French team, 3 goals and 2 assists. Compare that to 33 games and 2 goals last season for Manchester United, and we have a man reinvigorated, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And Lyon are absolutely battering sides at the moment. They've scored 20 goals in their last 4 games in all competitions. That's unbelievable. And in this game against Metz, they were hugely dominant. Metz had 9 shots. Lyon had 27. Ooh. Absolutely incredible stuff. Now, Jean-Michel Aulas, who is the president of Olympique Lyonnais, has said that Alexandre Lacazette might be on his way in the summer. Now, if he went, it would certainly be a blow for Lyon. But with Fekir bagging a hat-trick against AZ Alkmaar in midweek, and Depay looking like he's coming into form, perhaps that will soften the blow a little bit. But if Lacazette leaves, where will he go? Let us know. We want your opinions. Our final losers of the week are PSV Eindhoven, who went away to Feyenoord and they lost 2-1.
They certainly did, and this seems to have absolutely shattered their hopes of securing that final Champions League place. Now, the result was just as the home side created 17 chances. They absolutely peppered Zoet in goal and only conceded 7 in reply. And seeing as PSV have actually had the highest amount of shots in the league with 436 this season, this represents a great shift from the likes of Hayden and Congolo at the back for Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's side. They actually put in a combined 7 tackles, and Congolo got an assist. He's an absolute beast down that left-hand side. But Van Bronckhorst's men looked like they meant business from the start, narrowly missing from a set piece 6 minutes in. That was a little bit of a warning for Philip Cocu's men before Toornstra rifled in his 9th of the season. He also has 7 assists. He's having a hell of a year in the Eredivisie, as I said, after Congolo's cut-back Pato. But PSV did score a reply, didn't they?
Yes, they did. David Proper backheeled it into Pereira. Pereira swept it home. That's his 9th of the season and the 5th assist for Proper. Very good numbers, as people always put up in the Eredivisie. But look, Eldro Elia was really the driving force for Feyenoord. He made a match-high 5 dribbles as they pushed on, trying to get that winner. But when it came, it was slightly contentious. Hayden had a header. It didn't look like it had gone in, but the keeper picked it up, gathered it into his arms, and that's when goal line technology let the referee know that it had crossed the line. They got that 2-1 win. Feyenoord continue to just motor on. It looks like the title is coming their way. They've now got the most points they've ever had after 24 games in an Eredivisie season. So it looks like the title is going to them. Congratulations, Feyenoord, in advance.
Time to do some SOs now, guys. And we start with @Inigo, who thinks Deportivo Alaves should be in our winners after their 2-1 victory over Valencia. I believe you analysed that performance on Football Daily, so go and check that out, Inigo. And Aaron Toomey thinks Lyon should go in after their 5-0 thrashing of Metz, which we agreed with. I forgot to accredit you in that section, so there it is right now.
Well, I've got Josh Youngklaus, who reckons PSG deserve a mention. Unsurprising, they hammered Marseille 5-1 in Le Classique. Very good result for the Parisians. And at Ginger, that's not Joe Tomlinson, even though it should be, he thinks Villarreal should be losers for bottling it against Real Madrid. They went 2-0 up and, of course, let it slip, ending up losing 3-2. I'm not sure we could give them too much criticism for that. Villarreal having a very good season, but regardless, Ginger thinks they should be in the losers.
So that's it from us, guys, on the Euro Roundup. Who would you like to see us talk about next week? Let us know in the comments below.
Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out this week's Stat Wars. It's a good one. And as ever, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.